Most people watch a horror movie to see a monster. They want to jump, they want to scream, and then they want to turn the lights back on and feel safe. But what if the monster isn't a monster at all? What if it's just the truth? Welcome to Story in Frames. I'm your narrator, and today we are dissecting a masterpiece of theological terror. Dylan Clark's Portrait of God is a 7-minute descent into the most dangerous wish a human can make. The prayer to actually see the divine. Clean your lenses. Dim your lights. Let's step into the plot of Portrait of God. Our story begins in a quiet classroom. A projector hums to life, casting its light onto the whiteboard as a blank image begins to take shape. A student, Mia Riley, prepares her materials. As the title Portrait of God appears on the screen, we learn that this is her thesis project. Mia is a scholar, but she is also a deeply religious person. She started recording on her phone and begins to speak, asking a profound question. What does God look like? Mia presents a photograph of a painting, or rather, a photograph of a painting, and invites the viewer to simply stare at it. She explains that if the image looks like nothing but blackness, they shouldn't worry, as that is all she sees as well. She begins to play recordings of these witnesses to hear their experiences. The voices describe something nearly human, a wrinkled, gaunt man with a wide, smudge grin that stretches too far. They speak of wide, glinting eyes with a terrifying speckle of white. To some, the sight is beautiful. To others, it is purely frightening. Throughout these recordings, Mia tightly grips a crucifix. She wonders if these are merely tricks of the light, or if these people are truly having a religious experience. She questions why God would choose to reveal himself to them. Mia stops and restarts her recording, but this time, she notices something different. The painting is beginning to evolve. A dim, glowing light appears on the screen, revealing a thin, distorted figure that grows clearer by the second. The descriptions from the recordings are manifesting right before her eyes. Panicked, Mia begins to pack her things, desperately closing the whiteboard to hide the image. The figure on the screen remains still for a moment. Then suddenly, it begins to move. Mia flees the room, but when she opens the door, she finds the entire gallery outside shrouded in absolute darkness. Within the shadows, the entity begins to take its physical form. Mia steps back, closing her eyes in terror as she begins to pray, clutching her crucifix with everything she has. The entity reaches out, forcing Mia's head to turn toward it. It opens its mouth, and instead of darkness, it reveals a blinding light, a light that resembles the glow of a projector. In the final scene, we see Mia. She appears satisfied, her eyes swimming with tears. As she continues to clutch her crucifix, her hands have begun to bleed. The story ends here. To understand the nightmare Mia Riley just endured, we have to look past the jump scares. Let's freeze the frame on 4 specific moments that reveal the existent truth. Look at Mia's expression here. She is a scholar, comfortable in her research. At this moment, she sees nothing, and she is at peace with that. In theology, this is called apophatic theology, defining God by what he is not. To her, God is a safe, abstract silence. But notice the inner frame of the projector. It's clinical, rectangular, and controlled. This is her religion. It's a box she has built to contain the idea of God. But the story in frames is about what happens when the subject grows too large for the frame. Now, let's analyze the evolution. As Mia plays the recordings, the entity begins to materialize. Pay attention to the feedback loop. The more consistent the descriptions from the witnesses become, the clearer the figure gets. This isn't just a monster appearing. It is Mia's perspective shifting. The powerful truth that every religious person carries is finally taking a physical form. The wrinkled, gaunt appearance isn't meant to be scary. It is meant to be ancient. It is the weight of eternity manifesting in a room that is too small for it. This is the moment that confirms our theory. When the entity reaches out and forces Mia to look, it opens its mouth to reveal a blinding light. But look closely at the texture of that light. It looks exactly like the beam of a projector. This is existent truth. The entity is showing her that the God she was trying to find through a machine and a thesis was right in front of her all along. And he is the source. The light isn't coming from a bulb anymore. It's coming from the divine. This is why she looks satisfied. She finally has her answer. She finally sees a portrait she was looking for. But here is a story in frames that breaks my heart. The blood. Most people think the entity hurt her. I don't think it touched her. Look at how she is clutching that crucifix. Her hands are bleeding because she is holding on to a symbol that has been rendered obsolete. This is the burden of the ultimate truth. Once you see the actual face of the divine, this terrifying infinite light, the symbols of your religion, the cross, the hoax, become meaningless. So, when we step back from the frames and look at the whole picture, what is the final verdict? Is this a story about a demon masquerading as a deity? Or is it something far more profound? My theory is that we are witnessing the tragedy of the scholar. Mia didn't just want to believe in God. She wanted to prove him. She sought the existent truth, a version of the divine that isn't just a story in a book, but a tangible, physical reality. And this is the paradox. Every religious person carries the belief that their God is powerful and all-encompassing. But as Mia discovers, the actual truth is infinitely larger, stranger, and more terrifying than the human mind is designed to handle. When the entity opens its mouth to reveal that projector-like light, it is handing Mia the ultimate revelation. It is saying, "You want to see the source? Here it is." This is why she looks satisfied. The tears aren't just from pain. They are tears of a researcher who has finally reached the end of the map. She has found the truth that makes every other question irrelevant. She is satisfied because her perspective has finally been validated. She isn't looking at a monster. She is looking at the raw, unfiltered engine of the universe. The film begins with a warning from the book of Exodus. No man shall see me and live. In the context of the Bible, this wasn't a threat. Mia Riley spent her life as a scholar and a believer, safely sheltered by her symbols and her research. But she chose to look. She chose to focus the lens. And in that final, terrifying frame, she found her answer. She lived, but did she survive? Look at the duality of this ending. Her eyes tell us she is satisfied. She has finally witnessed the powerful truth she always craved. But her hands tell us the cost. By seeing the actual portrait of God, that vast, hungry light, the wooden crucifix she clings to is no longer a comfort. What do you see when the projector blinks? Is it the face of the divine, or is it just a void wearing the face we gave it? Let me know your theories in the comments. I'll be down there to discuss the frames with you. If you want more deep dives into the cinema that haunts us, hit that subscribe button and join the search. Keep looking at the frames. But be careful what you find waiting in the dark. I'm your narrator for Story in Frames. I'll see you in the next breakdown.